Life is good, 13. 13 love you all. You are creation 13. I'm Ambassador M. Starseed, and today I want to talk to you about some stuff that's been driving my heart, and I've been, you know, looking back into how I began this whole wide aspect spiritual journey that I have went on since 2010. Um, and I've been really looking back at those beginning moments in 2010 when I was waking up, because I was looking at all aspects of everything, and I said this in a previous video, and one of the key things that really stuck out when I first woke up um, was learning more about spirit, learning more about deception, um, learning about an organized order that the elite or the powers that be are wanting to drive into this reality. And the New Age one world religion. And that thing really stuck out to me when I first began this journey, was a one world religion, a New Age. And that really stuck out, and I put that in my bookmark to not forget, because I didn't know what kind of journey I was going on at that time, but I knew that was very an important key factor in this journey. So that's where I am now, is looking into this one world religion, and you can really see what's taking place, and this has been happening for I've been doing a lot of research, and this has been happening for quite a while, but it really kicked in about the late 1800s to the beginning of the 1900s. This is when this thing kicked in, this huge 100 years or 100-year span of a spiritual war and religion, or a spiritual path. It really kicked in around that time. And things have been building and growing into where we are today. And when I was doing some research, I talked about this in one of my previous videos. I had a person at work telling me that her husband, who was in World War II, told her that it was a spiritual war. It wasn't a physical war, it was a spiritual war. So when he was fighting, he saw all the spirits fighting with him, the good spirits, or spirits in general. It's really hard to say good spirits from bad spirits, but nevertheless, it was a spiritual war. So World War II was a spiritual war, as well as World War One. So these world wars aren't physical, they're spiritual. And when did these world wars happen? In the 1900s. So this is where you really have to look at the major historical wars, and where this places World War III. What is World War III? The final stages of the spiritual war. Because it's not that it's the physical aspect that we're fighting, it's the spiritual aspect, because everything is run by spirit and everything is run by energy, synergy. And you really have to remember this, because you can get so caught up in this physical reality, which I've been doing a lot more research, and it's just people get so caught up in this life. I mean, literally they do. And people will tell me, well, you only live once here, you might as well enjoy it. And to an extent that's true, but if you enjoy so much of a physical reality, how are you going to know you're not being deceived, or grow in your spiritual existence, because there's still that question mark in people's lives of what happens when we move on from this vessel, when we move on from our body. What happens to our spirit. A lot of fear happens when they think about that, so they try to enjoy life, but there's so many different key things that people really don't like to admit. Um, you know, they take life they take life for granted pretty much, and totally void out um, spirituality. Whether they may go to church or something like that, but that's it. That's their form of spirituality. But it's only just a routine. And I said that in my previous video. People just follow routines. And when their routine is broken, they have a fallout in their life, and then they don't understand how to pick up from that fallout. And that's what really is, from my perception, that's what really is happening right now, is that there is a falling out of awareness now, where people are going to end up experiencing something that wasn't to be expected. And this isn't to spread fear, it's just there's a lot of things that are taking place that really just aren't being dealt with. Like I said, there's a lot of secrets and hush hush going on right now, and that's just something that really shouldn't be happening right now. Life is a chess game, and you definitely need to play your pieces right. However, you gotta make people know, and that's what our jobs are. That's what a messenger is to bring forth what's happening, to prepare you. And those who are on a spiritual journey, who find my channel or other people's spiritual channels, are there for, because they are diving into the unknown, and they want to know more about what's going on. The real truth is in your spirit. You can find out a lot of answers within yourself and your connection to God, the universal creator. You can find out a lot of things. You can also do research. That's your free will and your choice that you can do. And with that being said, a thing that popped up in my path again is, the realization that there's more followers of stuff instead of leaders. And I do get the argument most of the time, well, if everybody was a leader, nothing would get done. However, if you're a true leader with respect and listening to your heart, you can guide the world to a more balanced state. Taking away the lies and deceptions that have taken place within the leadership of this world. We're here to mold new leaders that drive by the true spirit and drive by the heart with passion, and getting rid of and weaning out the lies and deceptions that are taking place. And you can only do that with a spiritual existence, because whether you want to admit it or not, or whatever path you choose, spirit is the number one key in this whole reality. There is a realm that plays with strings. There's puppet masters. Behind the spell, there's puppet masters. And you don't know if you're being controlled by them or not. And this is why it's so important to figure out what the spiritual war is. I've been watching a YouTube channel called Vigilante Christian. And like I said, I look at all perceptions. I will subscribe to a wide audience, so that I can get everybody's perception and everybody's viewpoint. to me, it's my own personal news. You know, people can watch fake news all they want on TV, but YouTube and stuff is going to give you a wider selection of real news or stuff that people are digging into. Um, and to me, it's a great tool. You know, YouTube is definitely a great tool to further progress in things. So, speaking of that guy's channel, Vigilante Christian, um, he really focuses a lot on the Illuminati, um, uh, Satan's deception stuff. You know, he focuses a lot on the negative aspects, but it's his part. You know, it's his message that he's supposed to get out for people to view because, you know, like I said, you don't want to just focus on one version of something. You want to look at multiple things. So he is one part of a multiple path for your spiritual journey. So he's been talking a lot about different things of the Illuminati's rituals that, you know, music artists do, and one of the things that really popped up um, was Jesus, um, the Greek made Jesus, at least from my perception, and the Freemason Illuminati Lucifer uh, trying to think, rituals. Yeah, rituals popped up, and the character, I don't know how you say, Behemoth or something like that, Behemoth, whatever. If you know Illuminati and Luciferian people are, you know what I'm talking about. So those things popped up. So I've been doing research on them because if you put the Freemasons, the Illuminati, New Age, and this one world religion together, as well as Team Light, or just, you know, light bringers, people who are dubbing themselves light bringers, you're going to see the very same pathway. And this pathway is forming a one world religion because it is, I don't know what that word would be, giving you the hidden truths of spirituality, just like what I've been teaching you guys, is just stuff that just hasn't really been talked about. However, this is where the ultimate deception is going to be, because if they're promoting, you know, Illuminati, Freemason, the Lightbringers are promoting the same thing, and it becomes a trend, and not being taught properly, you're going to end up falling into something you don't want to be into. And what do I mean by that is, if you look into astral travel, look into your third eye, your pineal gland, and the chakras, you're going to come across one thing that a lot of people talk about, and that is channeling other spirits, opening yourself up to spirits, and being attacked by spirits or demons and angels, mostly demons. People are opening themselves up to something that they have no understanding of. And even myself, when I first began this journey, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was doing it anyways, with that remembrance of deception and everything else. Because when I was looking into this stuff, you know, that fear factor and the word deception popped in as well. So I was very cautious about everything I did. And if you watch my earlier videos, you know, my videos reflect that concern or that caution. And that's something you have to find out if you want to watch my earlier videos. So with that being said, this seems to be the main factor in this whole journey, in this whole New Age, Illuminati, Lightbringer thing is the pineal gland, or the eye of Ra, or the eye of God. Okay, this is the main thing that seems to be driving people. They seem to be looking at this, and they're starting to, or they haven't really started, but the New Age community, the Lightbringer community, is starting to focus a lot on this. And here soon, if you're not careful, it's going to be a worshiping idol, the Eye of Ra. And if you look at, if you dive deeper into 3D and you look at music videos, and just kind of the rituals that the Illuminati people play out, has to do with the eye. New Age movement has to do with the eye. That perception that we're all gods. And like I said in my previous videos, this is where spirits and angels come in and out of you. And this is where your spirit exits when your spirit is done in this vessel. So this is the key factor in a lot of things, and it's going to end up being a worshiping factor. And the same thing with what I mentioned earlier about the Jesus character is, Christ's journey was not meant to be worshipped. It was meant to be a path to your spiritual development. Him as a character was never meant to be worshipped. But I'll get into that later. But it just was never meant to be worshipped. But they ended up, the Greeks, the Romans, the Catholics, the Vaticans, the Christians, created an image of this character named Jesus for people to worship. And what I'm meaning by this is, if you look at the religions and the worshiping, at least in America, the worshiping of Jesus, and you look into the New Age and Illuminati, the worshiping of the Eye of Ra, you're looking at two things that are keeping you away from the most important thing. And the most important thing is spirit. Spirit. Your only connection to God, the universal God, is through spirit. Not through here, it's through spirit. And this is where the ultimate deception is playing out. I'm doing my research and I am seeing this unfold. This is what's taking place. This stuff, this religion, and this New Age stuff is taking you away from spirit, and it's taking you away from connecting to God. You feel you have to worship something to connect yourself with God. And you can even go back to the ancient times where people made sacrifices to God or the gods, because if you do your research on Hebrew, God is plural, so anything that has to do with God is the gods. And if you look deeper into that, you'll realize that they were scared to death that the gods were going to return and bring wrath, because people didn't know how to activate spirit. They got so tied up in teachings or symbolisms, the Eye of Ra, Jesus character, and different other gods. They got so tied up in idols that they lost focus of spirit, and they lost focus to the connection to God. Fear came in. And this is very important to realize this. Because if the ancients were so fearful of the gods returning, and throughout history it's talked about of the gods returning, or the return of Christ. Okay, there is obviously something, with creation. Like I said, the divine creator, God, the universal God, created everything, but he needed help. So he had helpers create planets and guard the planets, maintain order. This is where you get the Guardians of the Galaxy. There's a movie that came out, Guardians of the Galaxy. There is Guardians of the Galaxy. When things become unbalanced and unorder, if the universal God, God, I've talked about this before, when he sends his starseeds down, souls like myself, when he sends his starseeds down, it's our mission to put order back into the world. But if our mission fails, then the Guardians of the Galaxy return to force order back into play. And that's where the rituals and stuff is what their origin is. And that's what's still taking place. With Illuminati and stuff, they're still doing their sacrifices and stuff to please the gods or whatever, or do things, worship the spiritual realm or the dark entities that they are worshiping, because they are worshiping the puppet masters, the ones that are behind the veil. And this is why it's important to uncover that veil, because that's where everything is happening, is through that veil, is those puppet masters. And I talked about this in a previous video. I actually made some notes, I think it was like last year or the year before, about the dark arts, of what they worshipped, and how Lucifer, the fallen angel, is actually the Christ character. That's their belief structure, is that Lucifer isn't evil, he's actually good, which is why the Illuminati and the Lightbringers and stuff call this, saying, that his teachings are good, but they're false. That's why the Bible tells you that there will be a light of deception. You look at the Statue of Liberty. It's the light bringer, the light barrier. It's all in plain sight. It really is. I mean, they're not hiding themselves, and they don't have to, because humanity, America in general, because that's their targeted audience, is falling for all this deception and evil, worshiping, and they don't care. Just like on Saturday Night Live or whatever, they're making fun of them being part of the Illuminati, and people just laugh and joke around. It's not a laughing matter. That's how they have made you fall for their deception and their tricks, is because everybody just thinks it's a joke. They just think life is a joke. That when you joke around, that's it. Oh, they're just joking around. Oh, they're just joking around. And not being serious. People cannot seem to take spirituality seriously, or take life, serious, to the extent of there's something wrong going on in the world, and it should concern you, because not only should it concern you, but if you see something wrong happening, you got to realize when you have kids, your kids are going to have to go through whatever hidden agendas are continuing to build. And that's really something you need to take awareness of, and this is why, to me, it concerns me, because a lot of people are just not open about things. They're so, either they're fearful, or they don't know how to bring it to the world. I mean, my videos only get what? I think I get up to like maybe 150, 200 views on some videos, right? So unless if YouTube is messing up on my views, which is definitely possible. I've heard that a lot. So that could definitely be the case, because I have like 750 or something like that subscribers, and only 100 are watching. I don't know, but nevertheless, it's a viewpoint that if my videos are only viewed by not even 1%, um, then this brings out the point of like the 13th Son says. If you don't know who it is, it's okay. But you can check him out on my favorite subscribers. And he said only 15% will make it out of the whole world. And it's an important thing to realize this because, like I said, there's so many followers of deception. Only 50% are going to be the actual leaders that are trying, or messengers that are trying to help you see the deception. So that's really what I wanted to talk to you guys about and just make you aware of, is that this eye, the third eye, the pineal gland, is going to end up being a worshiping factor of some kind. Because when you tap into this, you tap into your whole mind, as well as you dig deeper into the temple of God. And because we all have an aspect of God within us, that's what our spirit is, and it is an aspect of God. But when you tap into your vessel, your spirit, the many doors of your spirit, you're going to end up discovering the angels and demons within your being, and that's where deception plays out. Because if you're not trained on this stuff, then you're going to be more deceived and demon possessed than you're even aware of. And mirrors also was talked about as well. The reflection or the hidden veil that's happening, because a lot of people are seeing shadows now, and seeing beings and spirits roaming around more and more and more. It's because a veil is breaking, and people's true instincts are coming into play. So if you have a demon or a spirit attached to you, and they're using your thoughts instead of your own, that's what's going to manifest. Like I said, ego is sin. And, that's why it says in there that people do not know what they do, because you don't know if you're possessed or not. It's a huge, big, complex world. A spiritual world, a spiritual war that's taking place. And people are so simple-minded that they don't see the bigger picture. That's why I'm here to make you aware of what's going on. And only you, because you have your own free will choices, only you can go and discover this stuff. Because it tells you right in the Bible, thou shalt not worship any idols or any imagery. No idols, no imagery. The eye of Ra, you worship that. It is an image. The Jesus character, the painting or drawings that they have, you worship that. You get on your knees and look at that. That is idol worshiping. It's just plain and simple, and I don't see how you can see past that. I don't see how people can see past that they are worshiping idols, or are keeping you away from spirit. That idol is taking your energy. You're looking at that. Say if you're looking at Jesus, the painting, it's taking you away from spirit. God is unseen. It says in the Bible in there that God is unseen. I don't know the scripture offhand, but from what I remember, it says, thou shalt not create an image of God, or something like that. Thou shalt not create an image to worship the unseen. God is everywhere. The universal God is everywhere. It's energy. It's synergy. You want to become one with it. You don't need to be worshiping something to get that kickstarter, that jump. Like a drug. I mean, that's kind of like what it is. Worshiping an idol is like a drug. No one is tapping into spirit. It seems like everybody is forgetting about spirit. and having to worship something. Um, so yeah, so I could keep going on and on about this. But I'll be talking more about this stuff because I'm doing research and everything on a lot of things that I have discovered with the hidden agenda of what this rule is trying to bring forth is more idol worshiping. So yeah, so pay close attention to what people are looking at and question what they do. Someone says, "Hey, you need astral travel." Do some research on what you're doing. Because when you astral travel, you're leaving your body. And when you leave your body, that's where the hidden realm of demons or spirits can go into your body. It's a simple fact. It's just something that those teachings have been destroyed for a reason. So then their hidden agenda is, oh, open yourself up, astral travel, open yourself up. So then these demons or these spirits can enter your being. They're just teaching you to open up, and they're not teaching you the balance and the order on how that spiritual realm works, on how the puppet masters work. They're not teaching you that, and there is a reason behind that. And I'm going to dig deeper into that. So yeah, so pay very close attention to everything that you have learned now. And if you're new, pay close attention to this deception that's being played out. There's a huge deception rate that's happening. The Eye of Ra is the key, what is that word? Motivator for their deception. So yeah, and it's going to be more and more aware, make people more and more aware as it goes on. And it also has to do with technology as well. So I'll get back into that. Like I said, I keep talking forever. So yeah, so just pay attention to what's taking place, what you have been taught. Because a lot of people woke up in 2010. I know that for a fact. And people are still waking up every day. So beware. So key things, if you watch this video, is beware deception, beware of idols and worshiping idols, and focus on spirit. Realize that these teachings that people have taught you have not focused on spirit. They may talk about spirit, but they don't tell you to focus on spirit, to understand what spirit is and how it connects to the universal God. That's what Christ's teachings were. Yahweh, Yeshua, the original translation of his name. That's what Christ's teachings were. We're learning how to develop spirit and connect back to the universal creator. So remember that. I love you all very much. And just keep shining bright and just be open-minded and aware of everything that's taking place. Because it is a huge, complex world. And if you're extremely simple-minded, it's going to take control of your life just like that. So yeah, so I love you all very much. Love yourself, keep shining bright, and talk to you in a little bit.